Morning traders, hope you are well. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a kind of live morning scan, how I scan through my charts in the morning, pick the ones that I put on my daily watch list here, and basically how I do it. So I got a request to do this saying, how do I pick these pairs that go onto this watch list here from my morning scan? So I'm not sure if this is a good video idea or a bad video idea. So if you like it, make sure you hit the thumbs up. I think maybe it'll help you in streamlining your scanning process where you're only focusing on the ones that are on your watch list and getting rid of bad trades quite quickly, which should clear your mind and help you eradicate a lot of bad trades. So maybe that's where you can get some value. I don't know. Let's see. So the first thing I always do is scan the SPX 500 to get my risk sentiment. Always start from the daily. The daily for me is a very powerful time frame, obviously. And over the past week, the SPX has been pushing up. Right, we had it out of this bigger corrective, push through into all-time highs. Now, yesterday it was still risk on. For me, it is still risk on. However, because of this hammer candle on the daily, and because of the decent impulse or decent move to the upside we've been on, maybe we could see a possible corrective within this index, maybe a retest back to this area for continuation. So because of this hammer here, but mainly because of this impulse moving to the upside, it may make me a little bit wary about potential continuation in this index. Just because if we look at where we've come from, we've had a very nice move to the upside. You're maybe seeing a slight loss of momentum here if we change it to a line graph. Here you can just see it there, where maybe we need a slight corrective. Now, doesn't mean that this SPX is going to fall off. Healthy trends, impulse correct, impulse correct. Maybe we are due for a corrective, but I'm not going to say that for sure. I'm still going to continue with it's risk on because it is risk on. We've broken through all-time highs. In terms of my risk sentiment, it stays like that. So risk on. So risk on means I'm still looking at selling those yen crosses, selling the Swiss crosses, looking to buy those commodities against it because it puts the odds in our favor, as the market has been quite bullish recently. Investors are confident. When investors are confident, commodity currencies are usually quite strongly bid, as we have seen in the past 2 weeks. So what I would then do is go to my watch list here. I know you can't see that properly. I'll do that there. Go to change my date. Today is the 27th of October and keep my risk sentiment as risk on. And then I would put an additional thing here saying possible pullback, just because of that daily hammer. The next thing I do is go to the dollar, the DXY. Remember, the dollar is the most heavily traded currency in the Forex market, and give my analysis on that, or do my analysis on that. And today I think it's a mess, essentially. We've had this strong move from a decent downtrend, big bullish bar, bit of a hammer, push on, come back down. We thought this may fake out and move to the downside. Big bullish bar now. So, and now coming back off. To be honest, I am looking at this chart thinking we could be now impulse corrective, kind of curling pattern there for continuation to the upside on this dollar, but I wouldn't be really confident in giving my personal buy. So it's one that I'll just say, I don't really know what's happening here. I'll leave that alone. Don't know if it's going up. It could go either way for me. Don't know. The dollar, I don't know. And then I start with my all my pairs. So let's go through them. So Aussie CAD here, I can't see any setup for me at all. Move on to the next one. Aussie Swiss, I can see something potentially here. I can see a V reversal right off the bat. Here. Isn't ready for a setup, but if we get something like this to come back, move up, and break out to the upside, it could be something I'm interested in with where the SPX is. The daily isn't too extended. Slight pullback here. The 20 is now curling up close to price action. We come out a little bit here. You can see we're possibly in a decent place if we're coming out of this descending channel. This could not be bad for movement to the upside. We do have that 200 in the way. Okay, but in terms of a breakout, if we get what we need, that breakout will be above the 200. So I like that. So I'll go to my watch list. Go to insert and add in the Aussie Swiss. These are all the ones from yesterday. I go through them again today. Oh, plane above my house. I'll go through them again today, and if I like them, I'll keep them on. If I don't, I'll take them off. So Aussie Swiss, long 4-hour V reversal, and that is going with the trend. I know that this is not going to set up today, considering there's a 4-hour chart. It's probably going to be, if I want that nice corrective, you got to think about possibly a next week trade. But it looks good. So I'm going to keep that on the watch list, and we move to the next. Aussie Yen, because of these extensions on the daily, massive moves, I probably wouldn't be looking at trading them. I don't think, even if you get a setup, there'll be massive moves out of it. So for me, the way I see it is the moves already happened. Okay, moves already happened. If I was in here, great. If I was in here, great. But getting in here, it's whether I think this is going to move the same extent from this smaller corrective, and the answer is probably not. So I'm just waiting for that to properly digest before I look at the Aussie Yen. Nothing there on Aussie New Zealand. Whenever I'm looking at breakouts, I want multiple tags of the area, and you can see here that's not exactly what we've had. So move on to the next one. Don't care about that today. Aussie dollar, nothing there. CAD Swiss, unfortunately, a losing trade in that yesterday. Everything, this is why I don't like fundamentals. Everything fundamentally, gold weak, oil strong, risk on, should favor the CAD. The oil prices should favor the CAD. Lower gold should weaken the Swiss. Risk on should weaken the Swiss, and it came back down. So maybe for that it was impulse, pull back to this was the 50% fib, and continuation to the downside. So unfortunately, that was a losing trade again. I'll do a trade review on that in a bit though. But nothing there for me now. Notice if we're taking it as a potential short, it's a little bit messy and not something that I want to get involved in right now. CAD Yen, again, all these Yen pairs are quite similar. The move's already happened. I want to wait for a proper digestion before I look at continuation in selling those Yen pairs. Swiss Yen, I was a part of this trade. It was a very nice trade. Not in it now, but again, same thing. Looking for a bit more digestion. And that's why I use this 20 period. Simple 20 period, waiting for that catch up, so it helps me identify when trends are potentially ready to move again. Because you think about the 70-30 rule, markets range or pull back 70% of the time, and trend 30% of the time. And I'll give you a good example of that in a trade that I'm currently in, the UK 100. Here, if we look at the 1 hour chart, we see we've moved for 2 hours, and now look at the consolidation from that move. So 2 hours of movement, and then I don't know how many, 13, 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 20 hours of consolidation. So that's normally how it works. Which is why good trading is boring trading. You're waiting for the right setups, the right opportunities. There's no setup in Bitcoin here. I mean, there could actually be a potential short looking at this, but I wouldn't really like to play Bitcoin to the downside. But that doesn't mean Bitcoin can't move to the downside, because again, very similar. Although this is caught up to the 20, it's not been a massive pullback from this larger move. So something I'm interested in, you know, maybe profit taking at those highs. I'm going to add it onto my list. So I'll add it onto my list. I don't have to trade it. But I'm going to add it onto my list. Bitcoin, short. Oh, God, I can't spell. Short, 4 hour, VREV, C trend. Why do I have my Discord link here? By the way, if you're interested, there's a plug. If you're interested in Discord, 7 days free. The links are down below. So what I'd be looking for here, because it is counter trend, I'd want a little bit more consolidation, accumulation, and make this setup really nice, a proper squeeze into this area in order for me to go short. Because it is counter trend, I want everything really nice, certainly in that context, because, you know, we're riding our bike with the wind, which is obviously harder than when the wind's at your back. Dash, there's nothing there. Ethereum, so these are the cryptos that I go through. I do like them. Ethereum I had on my list yesterday. So notice that my list had Ethereum there. Here. 4 hour long, cut with handle, trend. So we had a kind of high head and shoulders here as well, but I was taking it as a potential cut with handle. This wasn't enough for a breakout, okay? This wasn't enough for a breakout for me. However, what I can do, because the context is just about there and just about good enough, we've broken through the area now, I'm okay looking for a retest. So I remove Ethereum from this section, put it up here. So I can take the breakout retest on the 4 hour as well. So if I don't get things that I like for a breakout, remember breakouts are obviously a more difficult discipline to master, but I can look for a breakout retest. So that's with the trend. I like that. I analyzed it yesterday. I like where the daily is. And yeah, I would happily take a retest if it gives me the retest that I like to see. We're going with that trend, which we always like to do. Litecoin, there's nothing there. See, Euro Aussie right here could be in line for a breakout retest. Right, for me, I can see the structure here. We've broken through, we're in a nice steady state retest. So this is nice. There's no doubt this is nice. Every time frame here is nice. We're going with that trend. The only one I don't like is this daily chart. I just can't bring myself to sell a pair when it's all the way down here. I can't do it because, you know, whenever I make a trade, the premise of my trades is it runs. So we want to be selling it here on the small time frames to run. I just can't bring myself to sell it here. So even though this context is good, this retest is really nice. So if you look at this retest, okay, in that steady state at the moment, and also on lowering volume. So this is a really nice retest. Context is good, V reversal, digestion of this impulse, breakthrough on high volume, lower volume on the accumulation phase or retest phase. Now you'd be looking for a catalyst to go short on this EA. But for me, higher time frame confluence, which is very key and very important, is not there. So I can't bring myself to take that. Unfortunately, but a nice little example of what I like to see. EuroCAD. CAD, little fun tip about me. CAD is my least favorite pair, and there's no close second to trade. Absolutely my least favorite pair. And not just saying that because I lost the trade in it yesterday, but I just don't like it. I don't like it. So you're seeing kind of reminiscence of something you could potentially trade here. Because we're in, you know, in terms of a V reversal, you could look at there. Not really. You'd have to wait for a counter trend trade roughly about this area, but there's no context. So at the moment, it just looks to be potential correcting through time rather than through price on this daily chart, rather than the accumulation phase to move to the upside. So unless it gives me some kind of context, maybe here, cut with handle, something like that, I would take it from this section, which would be fine by me. I would ignore all this for movement to the upside. Until then, I'm not interested in it. Excuse the aeroplanes going over my head, by the way. Here's something interesting. Euro Swiss. Maybe you're getting an H&S here, but certainly a V reversal. And now in that consolidation pullback phase, which you need from this impulse, certainly prior to a break. We don't want to see breaks go through from deep. You're often liable for a potential snapback there. 4 hour looks okay. Pullback from this move. So in terms of health of that trend, it's good. There is the option of a potential breakout trade on this 4 hour. Not ready yet, obviously, but potential break on that 4 hour. So with this, I kind of like it. Look where it is on a daily. Had its pullback through time here. Big catalyst candle, and now we're moving down. Not extended. This is good. Broken through structure. I don't mind Euro Swiss to the downside, so I'm going to add this on 2 bits. So we've got breakout retest potential prior to break. So I'm going to add this in here. Euro Swiss. Short. 30 min 1 hour. VREV going with the trend. And I'm also going to add it into this list here on a breakout. Euro Swiss short. 4 hour. VREV trend. There we go. So we've not got to our... Did we look at CAD Swiss? Oh, sorry, we did look at CAD Swiss. So CAD Swiss was on my watch list here. Long. Take this off. It's not setting up now. Obviously, because I lost the trade. We've gone through Aussie Swiss is not... Do we like Aussie Swiss? Oh, yeah, sorry, I put that on. Excuse me. Okay, so now we move to the next one. Euro pound. Euro pound, although it's broken structure, I was looking at yesterday. You can see on my watch list there, you can see euro pound. I was looking at yesterday. But because it's now broken, which I didn't want to happen, I was looking at potentially this. You know, reversal, something like this, but we got a breakthrough straight away. So there's no context for me now. So even though it's broken area and looks like it's retesting at the moment, the context is not there. You know, there's only this. This is not what I like to see. So I've got to take that off my watch list because it won't fit my entry criteria. Oh, did I press? So you can see how as we go along, this daily watches kind of develops into the end result. You've also got a daily hammer here, which is sometimes a bullish sign, fake out to the downside. Maybe it's pushing up. But for me, not ready for a movement to the downside anymore. Euro Yen, all these Yen pairs I think are too far gone. Euro NZD. Euro NZD, nothing really there for me. Euro NZD. Euro Polish, again, nothing, there's nothing there. No, nothing really there for me, certainly not right now. It's just a basing structure, it's not any kind of context. Euro USD with the DXY, it does look a bit shorty, does it? But again, for me, no context there to go either side at the moment. Maybe if you get a setup somewhere around this section, but can't see anything. So all these pairs that I say I can't see anything, I don't look at them until the next morning. You know, all these pairs that I don't have on my watch list, I don't care about for the next day ahead. It clears my mind. Pound Aussie, oh, that's tough to see the Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie was a nice trade. Got caught out here. Would have captured more and more profits. That'd been a frustrating month. A good month, but a frustrating month as well. But I was looking at this section. Wasn't quite enough for a breakout here, which is probably good because you would have lost it on this wick to the upside. So I was looking for a retest. Didn't get the retest I like. I believe I should have it here. Pound Aussie, yeah. So what I'll do with Pound Aussie is take it off my list. So that's one that was almost there as continuation to the upside, but I've got to let that go because the retest is not there. This bullish bar kind of shifted it. Certainly for me, this is what we saw last time actually. Pound Aussie there. But when we got stopped out, it was the same thing. I mean, I know it's more severe at this point in time, but yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not in that trade anymore. But this is good. I mean, it's good where it's at, right? Because now we're potentially closing underneath that 200, underneath this support zone, potentially. And it would look good for continuation to the downside. Pound Aussie. Looks to be, remember when you're on trend, even though this looked like a V reversal, it could have come up, or it could have came up, sorry. You're getting to the point where it shifted probably around those stop locations, right? So, impulse to the upside against trend. No real fundamental reason, no real news coming out. Taking probable retail stop locations out around that 200 and continue in that trend direction. You see that a lot. You see that a lot. Pound CAD. Pound CAD. Maybe there's something there. On the daily, it is counter trend. That would be a counter trend trade, but we're above this 20 now. Above that 20. You've kind of got, it's not really a head and shoulders because this is lower, but you've kind of got some accumulation there, which is quite nice. We had a fake out to the upside. Okay, that's fine, but we didn't get a close. I'm considering this probably the most respected area. A few wicks to the upside. But sellers aren't taking control here. You know, we've had our low, kind of a rising 3 and almost a rising 3 pattern as well, which is known as an igniting pattern, which is good. Added a little bit of confluence. Let's have a look at the weekly. The weekly doesn't look good, does it? Weekly looks bearish, but you did have a kind of doji candle there. Maybe the move is on this support zone where we've hit roughly around a few times before in this potentially kind of rangy environment. Not the best rangy environment, but it is kind of a rangy environment. Excuse me, I'm gonna shut my window because the planes are everywhere. It's alright, just shut my window, the planes are everywhere. I kind of like this, you know? I kind of like this. There's potential here. For pound CAD, you'd get enough, the 200 is not in the way out of 1-to-1. So your stop would be roughly around here on the breakout, TP1, somewhere there. So that 200 doesn't come into play, which is good. We're above those moving averages on the smaller time frames. Again, it's irrelevant until it breaks up, but I'm going to add this to the list. I kind of like that. You know, if SPX does decide to have a slight corrective, you could see weakness coming into those commodity currencies or into that CAD as well. So pound CAD long, 4 hour. What context is there? It kind of gets basically a cup with handle. Counter trend trade. But because it's counter trend, I would really need that squeeze up here. So I'd need that 20 period coming up, really squeezing into the area for a potential pop to the upside on pound CAD. That's not bad. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Potentially one for maybe US session today or maybe tomorrow. London session tomorrow. Kind of get approximate timings. Pound Swiss, there's nothing there. I don't know if I continue with all this. You're kind of getting the idea. I'll do the pound pairs and then I'll probably leave it there. Because you're kind of understanding what I'm seeing and what I'm doing with that kind of... there's no point in me going on for another... I don't know how many pairs. There are lots of pairs. It'll end up being like a 2-hour video or an hour video. So GJ again with these GJs, you know, sometimes maybe this is a comeback for a complex corrective here, but massive impulse. You just got to let that digest. Just got to wait. Just got to wait. 70-30 rule. Number 70-30 rule. Pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand. Oh. See, we're getting mixed messages here with the pound CAD and the pound New Zealand. So, although this has moved quite significantly, we're getting... I don't think this is enough yet. I don't think this is enough. You know, I would like to see it kind of come here, considering this move, to digest it a little bit better. You know, the 20 period on the daily is still quite far away, so a breakout in the 4 hour, although it looks nice, I'm not going to put it on my list because of the extent it's moved. I would rather, I prefer, I always kind of have a gut feeling. And my gut feeling is that this is not quite ready yet. Actually, I'll just put it on my list so I remember for tomorrow. I'll put it on my list. Insert pound New Zealand short 4 hour VREV with trend. Always like to usually go with trend as always. Actually, what I'll do then is I'll look through the ones we've got on our list here and see if they're still on it. So we've got NZD CAD. Excuse me. We've got NZD CAD, which is actually still quite nice. This is really good. This is nice now. Basing structure. I always have a roughly 50% rule, and we're kind of getting that now. Here to here. 50% of the basing structure in terms of range. So this is good. I'm going to keep this on. I like that. NZD CAD to potentially to the upside. Because it's a 31-hour chart, I can take a breakout retest. I cannot take the breakouts on anything less than the 4-hour. So this is good. You know, we went from this move. It looks to be potentially changing trend on this daily. Certainly if we can break above and get above that 200. We had a decent outside bullish engulfer here. So this looks okay. I don't mind this. 4-hour looks good as well. 4-hour is, you could say, it's a potential breakout trade on NZD CAD. So certainly I'm keeping that on my list. I'm going to keep an eye on that today. I had an NZD Swiss on it as well, but that's obviously gone on account of this price action. I didn't get into the retest here. I don't like this retest particular, so I'm going to take that off my list. And the last one I'll do will be Kiwi dollar. And then I'll wrap this up. Anyway, if you did get any value there, I'm not sure whether you got value there, but if you did get value there, hit that like button. Let me know. Maybe it'll help you see how I don't kind of eradicate some trades, how I put some stuff on my watch list that I like. Kiwi dollar, I had to the upside, and it's obviously faked out here. Again on the uptrend, so there's an argument here for a potential setup short side, but because of this and because of this, I don't think it's high probability. You know, if you want a reason to enter short, and this to me from this movement is just not a reason yet. I know you can have a big bullish engulfer here, fine, but also, and also, thing I almost forgot is that this is not valid either. It's not valid because your pre-breakout, so the area just before the breakout has a bigger range than our basing V or a basing cup or you know, that kind of basing pattern essentially. So with my cup with handles, for example, I can't have this, right, with a longer range. We need that roughly 30 to 50% breakout retest. So this is actually not even valid anymore. So I'm going to take that off the list. Anyway, so that's how I do it. You can see how the watch list is starting to develop now. I send this out to RTFX members in the Discord and the website every single morning. If you want to get involved in that, the links are down below. 7-day free trial. We give away a 50K monthly FTMO challenge to one member. But yeah, maybe that helped. I don't know. Cheers, guys. Trade safe.